why is it that people give away their agency so easily?
Um,
Because a lot of people want to have the power to make these decisions, but they give it away so easy. If it's not a guy, simping for a beautiful woman, it's cases like this, or in order to gain, or thinking they're gaining power, or whatever it is. Even if they're like held down to a particular belief system, they'll throw that out the window for $1.
Media has their own. They have their due diligence. They should have done that and dealt with that whole situation a lot better than that, instead of just kind of it's just they knew it was news.
Yeah.
When it's race, police, gun related, any of these subject matters that they know are hot button topics,
Right.
they're gonna run with it because now they're getting attention. Now they're getting revenue. Now big places are recognizing this place
Right.
even more. So
At the end of the day, you are the agent of your own decisions.
Absolutely.
So being able to be accountable. We all want more agency. We all want to have more power over our own decisions, but we don't want to have that kind of accountability associated with that.
response.
Oh man, so
Right?
guess who's back in the news right now?
Who? There's a lot of
You
people.
remember that police officer who
Train conductor.
that ran through the
the train conductor.
the entire
Tom Stickett.
the whole office, if you will,
Everybody got it.
department.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's back in the news. She's
What now?
she's upset.
About what? Are they because of the slander, the memes? I mean, how many months ago? It's been, January? That was a hot January. I haven't heard anything since then, though.
Well, I mean, I guess it's only been a couple months, but
Yeah.
apparently she's suing the department. She is saying that they groomed her.
Wow.
And I'm just like, well,
Well, does she have anything to substantiate that? I mean, could you see that as grooming? I mean, grooming doesn't have to, specifically be age-based. So you could be set up and, for a particular thing, and just like people get set up and take the fall for things all the time, and I'd be unaware of it.
I understand grooming when it comes to like kids,
Of course.
because they're not at an age to where they can really understand their own agency.
They haven't had enough experience. Yeah.
But when you're an adult, you have to take some responsibility for some of the decisions that you make, whether they're good or bad. That's the whole point of having agency.
Of course.
And I feel like this is a very, very interesting situation. It's a power dynamic. So that's the whole thing. There's a lot of these officers, he's saying they were using their power to influence her decision making.
Okay.
You got to take your own agency back. Like, I don't understand how people are feeling like, well, I was tricked, or I feel like if I didn't do this, then I wouldn't get here. Yeah, that is a very, very, I know you hate this word, toxic work environment, 100%.
Absolutely.
Why are you still there? It shouldn't exist in the first place, but still. And it's not even the fact that it's there. It's the fact that it was presented and she went along with it for so long.
Precisely. You had plenty of outs. You've got experience. You could have went to any other department, transferred somewhere else, exposed what was going on.
Right.
Been the whistleblower, took that heroic, been brave, been courageous, and done that. But instead, you did it for whatever reason, whether it was monetary, some type of position compensation, or because it probably what it was felt good. You
Yeah.
enjoyed yourself, which is fine.
You know what? Taking this stance, you know what we're going to get called? We're going to be called victim blamers.
That's what always happens. Accountability is all we're saying. You can't come back later on and say, well, you got caught up. No, I was in this open relationship with my husband, and he's all like, oh, that was news to me. I didn't know that. That's what we agreed upon.
Right.
And then he goes along with
I
it
think
now.
the fact that it got so big, it went national. Like I said before, the fact that the news reported on it in the way that they did, and it blew up the way that it did, I feel like a part of that responsibility has to go to the media portrayal.
Oh, of course.
But at the end of the day, you are the agent of your own decisions.
Absolutely.
So being able to be accountable. We all want more agency. We all want to have more power over our own decisions, but we don't want to have that kind of accountability associated with that.
You have to. You can't sit here and blame everybody else and say, well, they did this and they did this. Like you're saying, the media has their own. They do. They have their due diligence. They should have done that and dealt with that whole situation a lot better than that. Instead of just kind of, it's just they knew it was news.
Yeah.
When it's race, police, gun related, any of these subject matters that they know are hot button topics,
Right.
they're gonna run with it because now they're getting attention. Now they're getting revenue. Now big places are recognizing this place even more. So they did take advantage of it. We're not saying that at all by any means. But had she dealt with it a little differently, she could have took a little less of a hit and less power from these people. They wouldn't have been able to spin it like this. You could have been ahead of it and set your own narrative instead of letting the media, social media, to then spin you as this person that's promiscuous or whatever else.
Well, here's a question, and it's related. Why is it that people give away their agency so easily? Because a lot of people want to have the power to make these decisions, but they give it away so easy. If it's not a guy, simping for a beautiful woman, it's cases like this, or in order to gain, or thinking they're gaining power, or whatever it is. Even if they're like held down to a particular belief system, they'll throw that out the window for $1.
Oh, I think what it is it's a means. People believe it's a short-term means for long-term gain when it's not that case. They believe I'm getting this instant gratification of whatever it is, the position, whatever the agreement is, or what you believe is going to happen. And so let me sacrifice this, even though it goes against how I feel morally or ethically, or whether it's right or wrong. I'm going to go with it because I truly believe this is going to benefit me, my family, whatever. I think that's what it is. People are willing because they don't think they're capable of doing better than that. So here's my chance. If I don't take it, it's never going to happen again. I think that's what people get locked into.
Well, I say, how much do people or should people value their agency? Because, like for me, the reason why I don't do like drugs or drink much is because I value my own decision making. I want to be in my own mind, want to be 100% coherent when I am making decisions, and putting any kind of things that's going to alter that in my body is going to kind of make me feel like I don't have the agency, or put me in a position where I am a victim of my own, bad choices. And I don't want to do that,
Of course, but that's you. That's just like people who do, psychedelics or whatever they do to help them think, calm down, anxiety, whatever. We're not saying it's a bad thing, but just like your choice, same thing with me. I don't drink, I don't smoke. It's our own choice. And no tattoos, nothing. It's just my own choice. I don't demonize or ostracize or look anybody differently for doing those things. But the same thing with me. You can't then get good around people like this. Then you get taken advantage of. Well, I was under the influence. Well, had you not been there, been in the proximity of those type of things or those unsavory people, most of the time we all know. You know people you shouldn't be around. You know places you shouldn't be. And to think that, well, if I put myself here, I have enough willpower or strength to not deal with it. Doesn't mean it's not on you to make that decision. People make decisions. Life makes decisions. World makes decisions for you when you put yourself in situations.
But it's someone like that. It's someone close, But Todd's doing it, so
peer pressure and FOMO, fear of missing out. I think that becomes a big thing. Well, if you're not getting with the program like the rest of us, then you're not going to make it here in this department. Or if you don't fall in line, you're not going to have this position again.
So I think that is very, very insightful, especially when you think that we live in a culture of influencers.
Of course.
Influencers are the people, their job is to try to take your agency from you. Of course. They're trying to get you to buy something. They're trying to get you to try something. Subscribe to this channel.
There we go. See what we did there.
But yeah, we live in a culture of influencers. So there's all these things trying to fight for your level of agency and decision making. So being able to take back control of that in order to make better decisions is very, very key. And that's kind of just what I've really been on, especially on a philosophical standpoint, is being able to think for yourself. Critical think is a big thing because we're lacking that as a society.
Absolutely. It's vital to be aware when you're being manipulated or what other people know. That it's teams. Like we went back, we talked in the previous video. Teams. You don't want to be outcasted because if you're not with them or the others and you're doing your own thing, then either they'll assign you to a team or what you become is then they'll go to teams and say, you know what? This person is doing something different from us. People are listening. They're basing themselves in fact or whatever. They're not picking sides. We need to attack them because what's going to happen is people are going to say, you know what? This team I was on, you're right. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. Or the team that I'm on, you're right. This doesn't. And the other team, even the other team, doesn't make sense. They're just arguing to be arguing for our attention, and we're not. They're not even arguing anymore. Now we're arguing, and they're just sitting back watching us play like we're puppets. So that's what they don't like is when we encourage free thinking. When we encourage you to be aware of other people's intent.
Yeah.
And be aware of their agendas, because everyone has an agenda.
Because you end up getting called either a liberal or you end up getting called a coon or whatever you want to, whatever they say.
Absolutely.
There's words on both sides for any kind of opposition. I just think it's hilarious because it's the exact same hypocrisy.
It is. You're making pointless arguments to distract you from what really matters, the subject. So at the end of the day, our main focus, what we always want to accomplish with this, is to get you guys to question things, not just socially wise.
Yeah, it's not even like conspiracy theory type shit.
Exactly.
It's just common sense.
Ask questions. If someone presents you with something, don't just trust it as the gospel, as this is it. Okay, ask why. Hey, where'd you get that from?
Right.
Inquire. Ask questions. That's what we were taught us. Raise your hand if you got questions. Don't just sit here, well, I guess this is the answer. No one else is raising their hand. I don't want to raise a hand, and then I'm a little crazy if I say something, and I think that's what it is too. People are afraid to stand up and be honest when they know that something's wrong. Yeah, they don't want to be attacked.
Oh yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah. Anyways, moral of the story: be accountable for your own decisions. Absolutely. And let's stop trying to blame others, the media, our surroundings. Let's take control of what we have control over, and that is our own decision making, our own agency. Yes. With that said, my name is Malcolm Eugene, Agent of Darkness.
Will Robertson here.
We are outro. Subscribe.